Welcome back, guys. Haven't made a video in a while, as you know, but when I make them, I try to make them good. This is my Animar deck. This is also a super pimped out version. Animar was actually my first commander. I had bought originally the Animar and Kalia decks when I first got into the format, and have kind of put him aside for quite some time, but decided I wanted to give him the full pimped out treatment. And one of the big things I did with this deck is try to get as many old border cards as I could, as that was the style I wanted to have for this deck. So Animar is pro black, pro white, and whenever you cast a creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on him, and creature spells you cast cost 1 colorless less for each counter on him. So it gets going very fast. Trick with this deck is you want to get Animar down as quickly as possible and just get the creatures rolling. So this deck is primarily a creature-based deck, and that's what's great about Animar when you're first starting out, is you can kind of just jam the creatures you like in his colors into a deck and honestly not do too bad because of the power of Animar himself is so high. But this deck's fairly optimized, obviously, as well as pimped out. So let's get to it. So first we have Animar, and there is the Masters 25 version. Animar is definitely one that could use a new alternate art, although I do love this art, or else a borderless type version. There's not one that exists. I just have the original Commander deck Animar on the back here. So next, for the pimpage, we have the original Onslaught foil dual land fetches. And these are very hard to come by at this point and very expensive. They're super sweet cards to have, though, with the old border as well as foil. So we've got Bloodstained Mire, Flooded Strand, Polluted Delta, Windswept Heath, and Wooded Foothills. Then we do have the Masters 25 versions of the same. They did a fantastic job with this. You guys, if you'll notice, the foil treatment on most modern foils does have the art foiled as well, but these don't. These just have the border foiled. And that is, the same style that was used on these old style fetches. So really cool to see that they carried over that same style. So the set of cards really just blends right in. You can't tell the difference that they were released, decades apart. So yeah, highly recommend picking these up because these are very affordable now, or at least affordable relative to what those Onslaught ones are going to run you. So if you get a chance to pick up, even if you just pick up your favorite one, grab onto these. These are going to be great long term. So we got Arid Mesa, Misty Rainforest, Scalding Tarn, Verdant Catacombs. So we do play all 9 fetches that we can play. We play everything except for the Marsh Flats, which is the white-black, which are Animar's protection colors that he doesn't play in those colors. So next we've got our duels. We've got Taiga, Tropical Island, and Volcanic Island. And then we've got our Ravnica Shocks. Now I do really like the Expedition art on some of these. Stomping Ground, Breeding Pool, and Steam Vents. Steam Vents is the one I love. This is definitely one of my favorite land arts out there. Just a fantastic, well done piece there. Then we have our multiplayer lands in Spire Garden, Rejuvenating Springs, and Training Center. And our Horizon lands with Waterlogged Grove and Fiery Islet. Still waiting, obviously, on the last one in that combo, which would be the red-green land. Doesn't exist yet. And we got our Command Tower, City of Brass, Mana Confluence. So these are our lands that make any color, and Reflecting Pool. Very important for Animar since he doesn't have colorless in his cost. Important to get your colors. And even we do play Ancient Ziggurat our creature count is so high, I think you're safe playing this. Obviously, you can't use this to cast non-creature spells, but fantastic for any creature. Katria Triome. Some of you guys have asked me about the art on these. I have mixed feelings on these, but you know, they are borderless and they are foil. Feel like the art's a little cartoony, but I still, you know, I'm going to run the Triome no matter what. It's just a question of, and this one has like the Birds of Paradise in, which I think is pretty sweet. Gaia's Cradle. Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. This is also a new one from Modern Horizons with the old border treatment. And ran for my basics, just run one of each: Island, Mountain, and Forest. Really like these Theros ones, has kind of an elemental feel to it, which I think goes well with Animar. So on to the creatures. Like I said, ramp with Animar is imperative. So I've got my creatures here organized by converted mana cost and color. So we're doing our green ones first. I have Elvish Spirit Guide here basically as a 0 because that's what you're going to use him for. Of course, you can throw him down and get a counter on Animar once you're developed, but the main goal is to just remove him to add one green to get Animar down sooner. And then we got a lot of our turn 1 ramp creatures in Arbor Elf, Birds of Paradise. That's from the new Secret Lair Mark Poole. And like I said, we're trying to get as many old borders as we can. So we've got the Time Spiral Elvish Mystic, Findhorn Elves, Llanowar Elves, and then Bond Beetle. It looks like a junk card. It is normally, but great with Animar just to get a 1-drop that puts a counter on from the text and a counter from Animar's text. So you get 2 counters with this little 1-drop. Sylvan Safekeeper, keep Animar safe. And then we're on to our 2-drops. So our 2-drops, we still play some more ramp, but we try to have ones that aren't just basic ramp, that they do something else special. Like this one has haste, so you can tap it right away and keep the Animar train going. Bloom Tender, this is from the new Secret Lair, Jen Bartel. I love this art. The original of this has only ever been printed once prior to this Secret Lair printing, so the original foil on this is just insane, and I love the art on this one. Love the also much more 10 times cheaper than the old one, so it's a great addition. And guys, if you don't know how Bloom Tender works, important to know, once you have Animar down, she taps for blue, red, green, all 3 of your colors. So it's a triple ramp, and you get the colors. So it's just fantastic. Rattleclaw Mystic. Again, morphs are nice with Animar because you can do colorless morphs face down for free once you have 3 counters on Animar. And then this guy gives you your counters when he turns face up and taps for mana. Priest of Titania. You got so many elves in here. Not uncommon for this to tap for more than 1. So that's what we're looking for. Old border. And Wall of Roots, old border. Destiny Spinner, that's in there for the first line of text here. Creature spells can't be countered. Huge for Animar. Elvish Visionary, just draw a card, replace itself, keep the train going. Fauna Shaman, survival on a creature, but again, Animar loves creatures, so fantastic. New Augur of Autumn. I think this is a great card. Just keep the top card of your library revealed, and you can play cards, land cards from the top. So, and then easy for you to get 3 different powered creatures, and then you can cast the creature spells off the top of your library too. So then you can just, again, just boom, 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 keep churning creatures and lands, especially if you can get yourself an extra land drop or 2. Prowling Serpapod, again, creature spells can't be countered. Good for these competitive metas if you're playing against a blue deck. Eternal Witness with the old border. Love this card, just fantastic. Reclamation Sage, same thing. Rec Sage, old border. And Wood Elves from the 7th edition. So this is the only version you get this in foil old border, but I really like it. And Beast Whisperer, old border. This guy's fantastic because whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. And Druid of Purification, great in multiplayer. Now, still finishing off on the green creatures, we got Toski, card draw. Vizier of the Menagerie. On to blue. Cloud of Fairies. Just a great cheap card. Come into play, untap 2 lands. Fibblethip. Same thing like the Elvish Visionary, just draw a card, replace himself. Gilded Drake. So they don't make a foil of this, but it's just a fantastic card. Older, I think it's reserved list card, but just fantastic in EDH when there's just huge creatures lying around. You know, a 3/3 flyer is nothing to sneeze at, but when you can just drop this down and take your opponent's best creature in exchange, it's super solid. And in multiplayer, pick the best creature on the board. Phantasmal Image. Spellseeker. Love this art, and this one looks great in foil if you see when the runes on her skin are foiled. So love that one. Phyrexian Metamorph. Always want to pay that colorless and just get him down for free with Animar. Pay the Phyrexian mana cost, I should say. Glen Elendra Archmage. Excellent protection. Muldrifter, Old Border. Peregrine Drake. So he untaps 5 lands, and you can sometimes get him down for only 1 mana. So come down for basically, -4 mana. Consecrated Sphinx. I like this new art on this one, and obviously that's just a card draw machine, even though you got to pay the double blue. We try not to play very many cards in here with the double cost with Animar, but this one's worth it. Moving on to red, we got our Simian Spirit Guide. Same thing, just ditch it for red mana. Ragavan, the Nimble Pilferer. Got the borderless art version here. Ragavan obviously is just good in so many formats, and even in EDH, you get him down on turn 1, start bashing with him and making some treasure tokens. So he acts as ramp. He also acts as mana fixing, and can also get creatures from your opponent if they're in your colors. Even if they're not, you can use the treasure to cast them. So just fantastic. More treasure making. Dockside Extortionist staple. Then the Imperial Recruiter. Just grab whatever you need at the time to get your combos going. Anything you need. Fantastic card. Perforos, God of the Forge. Just love the direct damage on this. And if you can get a combo where you're getting infinite enter the battle triggers, Perforos will just finish him off because he does damage every time you have those triggers. Then Wild Canter. Again, there's some interesting cards in here that you don't usually get to see that are not generally competitive, but again, this comes down for 1 and can immediately sack itself and replace the mana. So again, it's just good to speed out Animar. Mere Scrappling. Painter's Servant. Now, there is a Expedition Kaladesh version of this, or I should say Kaladesh Invention version. Can certainly play that if you like, but it was going to be the only invention in the deck, and so I said, hey, I'm just going to go with the original art foil here. If you don't know about Painter's Servant with Animar, so Painter's Servant used to be banned in EDH. It has been unbanned now, and it's kind of a broken combo with Animar because he has, as we talked about, pro-white, pro-black. So all you have to do when you play Painter's Servant is choose white or black, either one, and all cards in play become that color. All cards that aren't in play, So everything becomes that color. So hence, anything in your opponent's hand, if you say black, makes every spell in your opponent's hand black. And Animar has protection from black. So then he has protection from everything. So just a fantastic combo to keep your Animar safe. And as I was saying too, it works with permanents as well. So anything that's not in play, the easiest way to say it, anything that's in play and not in play all becomes that color. So then he has protection from everything. Basically turns into like a Progenitus type situation. And then if he has infinite counters, he can just swing in for damage to immediately kill your opponents. And just an amazing combo in this deck. Spellskite. Again, just keep Animar safe. Ancestral Statue. This one's kind of the no-brainer with Animar. This is how you get infinite counters on him. Once you have 4 counters, you play this, and this doesn't say another permanent. It just says a permanent, so it can target itself. So you basically bounce it, play it, bounce it, play it, and then once you're above that 4 counters, you're playing it for free, so you're casting it an infinite number of times. getting Animar an infinite number of counters. So then Animar can swing in, or like I said, with Perforos, you got the infinite triggers, or with Ballista, you got infinite damage. So this guy, plus like any of those other 3 cards, kill everyone. Solemn Simulacrum, a little bit underpowered, but I love this card, love this sad robot, especially the old border foil. Wandering Archaic, just some additional protection for you. And there's the Ballista, just talking about. Machine gun people with that. And then I got a couple Eldrazi in here. We've got Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. I like him. Obviously he has the Annihilator 4, but I really like just the drawing 4 cards with him. And there's a nice borderless version from the Masters, Ultimate Masters. Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. This guy, obviously, exile 2 permanents when he enters. That's just a fantastic effect. Now we're on to our artifacts. So we've got our Mana Ramp in Mana Crypt. Soul Ring, love the original art foil of this one. Not old border, but has the original art, which is fantastic. And Mox Diamond. And then Chrome Mox. Lotus Petal. So again, we're really going all out to ramp Animar out. It's possible to get him out turn 1, but you're basically guaranteed turn 2. And then again, for getting us some extra land drops, we've got Exploration, Burgeoning, putting our creature combos together, Survival of the Fittest, Sylvan Library, Fierce Guardianship. This is kind of a must for me in all decks, just can deal with any problem card, whether that's a board wipe, Blood Moon effect, someone trying to kill Animar. You just get to counter it for free as long as he's on the table. Then Swan Song, more protection. Deflecting Swat, more protection. And Veil of Summer, more protection. Then we got our tutors. Worldly Tutor. Sylvan Tutor. It's sorcery speed, so it's definitely not as good, but still worth it. And then we've got a couple other non-traditional tutors in Eldritch Evolution and Neoform. And last but not least, we have our Glimpse of Nature. Glimpse is just fantastic in Animar because you drop this down for 1 mana, and then when you're on a creature chain, every creature replaces themselves. So, guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate all the views, likes, questions, comments, suggestions I'm getting on the EDH videos. So really enjoy making these videos for you guys, and let me know if you have any other suggestions. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.